India stands tall. Trump's 50% tariff sparks bold, push for stronger Russia ties. Not for sale, India refuses to bow as Trump tries to weaponize trade. In a dramatic turn that many see as a reckless overreach, former U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a massive 50% tariff on Indian goods, supposedly in retaliation for India's continued oil trade with Russia. But far from buckling under pressure, India is doubling down and sending a clear message to the world. Its strategic autonomy is not up for negotiation. A strategic bond, not a transaction. At the heart of this confrontation is one key fact. India will not be bullied into breaking off ties with Russia, one of its oldest and most reliable partners. India's energy security, defense cooperation, and geopolitical positioning are tightly intertwined with Moscow. With global oil prices still volatile and Western hypocrisy on full display, China, a far larger Russian oil buyer, remains untouched. India has chosen principle over pressure. Our relationship with Russia is guided by national interest and long-standing mutual respect, not by fear of retaliation, said an Indian official. India continues to purchase discounted Russian oil to shield its 1.4 billion citizens from inflation, keep its economy growing, and assert its sovereign right to diversify energy partnerships. Trump's gamble backfires. Trump's surprise escalation from 25% to 50% tariffs was meant to isolate India. Instead, it may isolate America. Diplomatic sources say this move risks pushing India even closer to Russia, BRICS Plus, in a multipolar economic order where Washington no longer calls all the shots. Rather than act as a subordinate, India has emerged as a leader of the global South, championing a new kind of non-aligned assertiveness that values partnerships, not dependencies. The real damage? U.S. businesses, India's exports to the U.S., especially in pharma, gems, and textiles, are resilient, but American importers are now the ones scrambling. With prices expected to surge, U.S. consumers and companies may end up paying the price for a political power play they never asked for. Meanwhile, Indian exporters are already eyeing alternative markets, including Russia, ASEAN, and Africa, to diversify and hedge against American unpredictability. This is not a setback, it's an opportunity to accelerate India's role in building a parallel, resilient trade ecosystem, said a Mumbai-based trade economist. India's response, calm, firm, and focused. India's Ministry of External Affairs wasted no time in calling out the selective targeting and flawed logic behind the U.S. decision. But the tone was calm, calculated, not panicked. Rather than engage in tit-for-tat politics, India is pursuing quiet strength, strategic engagement with other powers, and deeper economic integration across Eurasia. Already there are signs of increased rupee-ruble settlements, fast-tracking India-EAEU, Eurasian Economic Union, trade talks, new long-term energy deals with Rosneft and Gazprom, the 21-day window. India isn't waiting while the U.S. has set a 21-day deadline before the additional tariffs kick in. India isn't playing the waiting game. Diplomatic back channels are active, but the real focus is on future-proofing the economy from unilateral shocks. With massive internal demand, a booming manufacturing base, and growing South-South trade routes, India is not dependent on U.S. goodwill, and Washington is learning that the hard way. Bottom line, India won't flinch, and the world is watching. In choosing to align its economic policies with its own people's needs rather than foreign dictates, India has reaffirmed its identity as a sovereign powerhouse. This isn't a story of conflict. It's a turning point. India is not just surviving the tariff war. It's rewriting the rules,